Tears of the Kingdom is out in 2 days, and while I can say that Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece, I certainly cannot say the same about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This game is right up my alley. It's a Musou game set in the Zelda world. I love the original Hyrule Warriors, and this one was an original story which is going to make it so much better. They poured so much love and care into making it feel like a Musou style Breath of the Wild game, and not just a Dynasty Warriors game with a Breath of the Wild skin over it. Firstly, it looks and sounds like Breath of the Wild, and each character feels unique, and they play exactly how you would imagine they would play if they were put into an action game. You collect, craft, and cook the same way as Breath of the Wild, and you even find Koroks hidden around the map. Because of all of these factors, this could have been my favourite Dynasty Warriors game, but instead, it's a game I can play a couple of hours of, and then put it down and don't come back to it for years. So let's take you back to the demo, and this was one of the first negative videos I ever did on my channel, and it was the first video I remember getting any sort of backlash on. Now, my reason for disliking the demo was the performance, because Jesus Christ, the performance in this game was off. And because I didn't bow down to the mighty Nintendo, a handful of people moaned at me for giving out about frame rate, which proves to me that most people don't care about frame rate. I mean, Jedi Survivor and Gotham Knights sold really well, so that tells you everything you need to know. Fast forward now to 2023, and I finally sat down to play Age of Calamity again, to see if the performance was improved and see if I could muster up the courage to finally beat it. From the start, I was reminded of the cool story in this game, which with a quick Google revealed that it isn't canon, which is a shame. But there's a cute mini guardian that reminds me of a Star Wars droid in all the right ways. The cutscenes are great, giving more backstory to the champions from Breath of the Wild. But then I got into the first level and I was reminded of two things. Firstly, how good a job they did adapting the characters' movesets into an action game. And secondly, how awfully this game runs. Just look at this frame rate. I had the exact same feelings I had when it came out. I thought to myself, wow, this game is so much fun because it genuinely is, and it's so satisfying to play. And from the characters I've previously used are all fun to use. They even managed to make the feckin' Korok guy fun, but the performance was such a damper that it just ruined it. Now, if I recall correctly, the first level was a bad showing for the performance in this game, and I do remember the performance getting better in later levels, so I persevered and played a few more levels. And yeah, it was kind of better, but for me, the game isn't playable, and somehow it has split screen co-op, which is great to see, but I don't even want to imagine how this game would run. Now we're going to jump into the game because I want to show off how fun this game can be, but also how bad the performance is at times. So I'm in the middle of a mission here, and I have Daruk and I have Hestu, which I just figured out is his name. So I'm going to get Daruk here. Now, Daruk is one of my favorite characters. I'm actually going to change the Daruk, and then we're going to get Hestu to attack this electric moblin here. So we'll get him to do that, and then I'm going to show you off Daruk because he's so fun. Now, the performance in this level is nowhere near as bad as the first, which I just showed in the video, but it still doesn't, like, here you can see, I would say right now, at this current moment in time, fighting this enemy, this game is playable. If this game ran like this, I would have no problem playing it. I would sit here and I would put 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 hours into it because, I don't know, there's something so satisfying about Musou games, but there you saw a frame drop, and like look, it's just, like, I already have 400 kills in this level, nearly, and by the end of it, like, you finish the levels with, like, you know, 1,000 enemies killed, and as I was saying, they just adapted each character's moveset so well, and each character is so fun to use, and they're all like 100% completely unique. Because I remember playing Fire Emblem Warriors, the Musou game, and obviously in Fire Emblem, a lot of characters are sword wielding or sword and shield wielding people. So while the characters did feel unique, they don't feel as unique as this. So here you can see Daruk is like a big crazy, like, I'm gonna absolutely smash everything up and destroy things and blow stuff up with magma. And to be honest, if I remember, he was my favorite, and from what I've played here, he still is my favorite. So now if I change to Hestu, firstly, he attacks with maracas, which is, like, just so cool. I mean, obviously he attacks with maracas, it makes sense. But when we change to Hestu here, he does all, like, he summons a load of Koroks, basically, and does all these, like, fancy moves and just, like, swings his maracas around. And it's like, this is the thing in this game why I am so disappointed that it's, like, such a feck up performance-wise. Again, here you can see that this is actually running okay. And from my history with this game, this is more an exception than the rule. But like you can see here, so there's a flurry rush, which is basically when you dodge an attack. When you dodge an attack perfectly, you can break down their shields, and then you get this weak point smash, which obviously is directly from Breath of the Wild, which is, again, another reason why I absolutely adore this game when it runs well, because like they just did such a good job at adapting everything Breath of the Wild into this. Firstly, as you can see, the game looks like Breath of the Wild. All the enemies are the same, the animations, the game just simply looks like Breath of the Wild. But then they have stuff like the Flurry Rush. They have all your abilities, the stasis, the bombs, magnesis, all this. And they like perfectly implemented them into a Musou-style game. So as I was saying, this, while it feels like a Musou game, it feels like a Breath of the Wild take on a Musou game, not a Musou game with a Breath of the Wild skin, which is, I mean, I don't really think you can ask for more. They did such an amazing job at adapting this game, but here you can see that the performance is starting to dip. And obviously the more things that, the more enemies on the screen, the worse it's going to get. And I would assume, I'm not amazing on technical stuff, but I would assume that when it comes to this, this is very CPU limited, because I'm pretty sure, if I am correct, when you have loads of enemies and stuff on the screen, that's when it starts to become CPU limited and not GPU limited, which the Switch, you know, obviously is quite underpowered, especially nowadays. So here you can see, with very few enemies on the game, this game runs at 30 FPS, no problem. Like, absolutely no problem whatsoever. This is completely playable. So now I want to go capture this outpost. So here in an outpost, I will be able to show you the performance. Again, right now, kind of playable. But then once we start getting loads of crap on the screen, the game just drops. This is still like there, and when like the camera gets caught in different terrain, I don't know, it's just a shame. And the problem is, I don't remember, now I could be wrong, it's been a long time since I played it, but I don't remember Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U having these issues, and obviously the Wii U was a less powerful console than the Switch. And then, like, I played Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, on the Switch. Obviously on the Switch is going to run well, like the Definitive Edition. But I also played it on the 3DS. And obviously you're going to expect, you know, worse performance on a 3DS. And now I could be just completely misremembering this, but I don't remember it being as bad as this game. So that's why it's such a shame, because they can get Hyrule Warriors running on the Switch fine, the Definitive Edition, and it ran pretty well on the Wii U. But then they can't really get this running, and I mean, that's why I'm so disappointed. Like there, you can see the frame rate is just dipping so badly. Maybe when we get a Switch 2, this game will be playable, and I'll finally love it. But right now, no. I'm more just disappointed in this game, which is a shame. But that's just, I think that's just the problem with the Switch right now. Is at this current moment in time, the Switch is significantly underpowered. And unless it's Nintendo making the game, in most cases, like making a big game, it's just not going to run well. So, that's Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity Definitive Edition. I have a Breath of the Wild review discussion if you want to watch that. It's a big, long, hour-long, reminiscing about Breath of the Wild with my friend. It's doing really well. It was a very good video. I highly recommend you check it out, because Tears of the Kingdom is out in a couple of days, and I can't wait. I'm just fucking waiting for my shipment confirmation email, and hopefully I'll get it a day early, like I have been with other games. But yeah, I can't wait. Zelda's amazing. Zelda's one of my favorite series of all time, if not my favorite. Maybe that or Ratchet & Clank. I love them. So yeah, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, like the video, join the Discord. Goodbye.